Welcome back. President Edgar Lungu has issued a 7-day ultimatum to Cuban Ambassador Nelson Paes Reyes to leave the country for engaging in political activities in Zambia. According to sources, the government was infuriated over Mr. Reyes' attendance of the launch of opposition Socialist Party headed by a journalist turned politician, Fred Membe. Mr. Reyes was photographed at the event, something the government argues is against diplomatic etiquette. Foreign Affairs Minister Joe Malunji has confirmed Mr. Reyes' summons to a meeting with the ministry, while remaining optimistic that Zambia's relations with Cuba will remain strong. Mr. Malunji said the ambassador had been given 7 days to leave the country. Sierra Leone's opposition party says its candidate has won the country's presidential election runoff according to its own results tally. Well, Sierra Leone People's Party SLPP said opposition leader Julius Maada Bio took 54.11% of the votes, while Samura Kamara of the ruling All People's Congress ABC won 45.89%. Meanwhile, the country's National Electoral Commission NEC is expected to release the final result by Thursday, as there was a brief delay in the vote counting following a disagreement between the parties on the tallying method. Counting has, however, resumed, adding that votes from 11,000 polling stations were yet to be counted. And refugee women in the Orchinga camp of Uganda are finding new ways to earn a living. Jennifer Mutamba fled conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo in 2011. She later decided to start a savings group to help transform the lives of refugee women living in the camp. Jennifer has also been able to boost her earnings by working as an assistant at the camp.
Jennifer Mutamba and her friends are members of a community savings group at the Orchinga settlement, a refugee camp in southern Uganda. The money saved is used to give out loans to members to help them start their own businesses. Jennifer says when she arrived at the settlement in 2011, the savings group has given them options to do other kinds of businesses. Together, the women plan to open a hair salon and employ local youths.
We give the women just enough to start their business. Once they learn how to run their business, we lend them more money. This is why you see children are now going to school. But before that, they just used to loiter around.
Jennifer runs a charcoal selling business. In Uganda, she was allocated a plot of land where she now lives with her family. Uganda's refugee population has risen sharply in recent years as people flood in from eastern Congo, where resurgent ethnic and intercommunal violence has uprooted hundreds of thousands. UNHCR says that so far this year, over 42,000 have already arrived, bringing the total number of Congolese refugees in Uganda to 250,000.
I see the problem refugees face. They have nowhere to call home. This is why we support this verification. UNHCR has a global system so that if a refugee comes to Uganda, then they know that this is their new home.
Jennifer also works at the camp, managing queues at a registration center where a verification exercise was recently launched. She makes about $4 daily. UN agencies and the Ugandan government are collecting biometric data from more than 1 million refugees to ensure that all refugees are properly registered and receive the protection and assistance they need.
We support this verification. UNHCR should roll it out across the globe so that if a refugee comes to Uganda, then they know that this is their new home.
Uganda was widely praised for opening its borders, offering refugees a plot of land for cultivation and allowing them free movement and employment rights. But rising refugee numbers have overwhelmed the available funds, and the World Food Programme, WFP, had to reduce its food rations last year to cope.
And to Ethiopia, where its new Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has pledged his readiness to resolve disputes with neighboring Eritrea. Speaking on state television after his swearing-in ceremony, Mr. Ahmed called for an end to years of misunderstandings. He was chosen to lead the ruling coalition after the unexpected resignation of Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn in February. The ruling Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front, EPRDF, has been in power since 1991 when it took over from the Derg military regime. But the protests and unrest in Oromia have posed the biggest threat to its continued rule.
Ethiopia's parliament swore in Abiy Ahmed as prime minister with a mandate to implement democratic reforms aimed at partly diffusing ethnic tensions in the Oromia province, from which the former army lieutenant general hails. The ruling coalition picked Mr. Abiy last week to replace Haile Mariam Desalegn, who quit to clear the way for reforms.
It's impossible to think about democracy without freedom. Freedom is not a gift from the government to the people. Rather, it's a natural endowment emanating from humanity. It is therefore essential to uphold freedom, especially freedom of speech and organization, which are enshrined in our constitution.
After his swearing-in ceremony, he called on the Eritrean government to resolve their differences. The two countries have had poor relations since a 2-year border war which claimed 70,000 lives.
We are frankly interested in resolving the long-standing disagreements with the government of Eritrea, and we will do our part in this regard. I wish to express our readiness to solve other differences, not only for the sake of mutual benefit, but also for the mutual benefit of the people of the two countries who are tied with blood. On this occasion, I would like to call on the Eritrean government to take a similar stand.
Mr. Ahmed is Ethiopia's first Oromo leader, an ethnic group which has been at the center of an anti-government protest. Oromia, which surrounds the capital Addis Ababa, has been rocked by violence since 2015. This is fueled largely by a sense amongst the young members of the Oromo ethnic group, which makes up roughly a third of Ethiopia's 100 million population, that they are politically and economically marginalized.
And that's Network Africa at this time. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker.